everybody, I'm Yasmin and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about why I prefer using rope halters over standard nylon halters. They're also known as breakaway halters. Unfortunately, I hate them so much that when I downsized all my tack, I ended up getting rid of all of the ones I had and I just kept all my rope halters. And I will never own one again, honestly. But if you Google standard breakaway rope halter, or I'm sorry, standard breakaway nylon halter, or just breakaway halter, horse halter even, the basic picture of a breakaway halter will pop up. And from that picture, you will be able to have a better reference for pretty much a lot of the points that I make in this video. Again, I'm sorry that I don't have one here with me. I just have a ton of rope halters that I'm going to be showing you and talking about. But yeah, most people that are into horses or have even led a horse on a lead rope have seen a standard nylon halter. So it's really not that important that I don't have one here, I guess, but again, I do apologize. Quick disclaimer, the reason I'm in my car making this video was because despite it being a beautiful sunny day today, I tried to film in my horse's paddock so that you could get, you could watch them while I talk. They were just not being the best video companions today. That's all I'm gonna say. Barella kept boxing Sadie into a little corner and they kept crowding me because they thought I had food. And no, I'm not afraid of my horses being around me in an open paddock together. It's just that I don't want to get so much talking to you guys that Barella pushes Sadie and one of them ends up running me over or kicking me by mistake or whatever the case. So I just figured that it would be easier to leave them in there because they were just, Sadie came over and just she kept knocking the phone down. I mean, I tried to record a new video 5 times in this paddock, and my girls, if it wasn't Sadie sniffing the camera, it was Barella's nostril that you were seeing instead of what I was showing you. So I just figured for the sake of the video and for the sake of all 3 of our futures here on YouTube, I would just come film in my car so you don't have to be distracted by my horses, okay, because they are crazy. So I'm gonna make 15 minutes on this one, and then if it goes over, then I'm just gonna make a part 2. I just find that my videos are a lot easier to upload that way when it's not a large 30 or 40 minute video. So there will be multiple parts to this video. Okay, now that I've said all that, let me get back to my original topic. So when I am training, when I'm doing anything with a horse, I love to have a nice rope halter. Now, by nice, I mean a nice sturdy rope halter. This is a rope halter, okay? Rope halters are pretty much known because they are made out of rope. And in fact, some of them are only single ones, and then some of them, like this one, have a double rope. And I mean, I like the stronger rope. It's not so hard on the face, but it also doesn't have a super amount of give to it, and it holds its form really well on the horse's face. The only piece of metal on this is just here, and this is just, when you tie this through the loop, it really doesn't have any effect or contact with the horse whatsoever. And even though this is a longer piece, these rope halters can fit a wide variety of horses' faces. Because like I said, Barella has a longer head, so this fits her perfectly. Sadie has a smaller, more compact, kind of like a chubby head, and it fits her just as well. These are very easy to adjust. So I guess that'll be my first point, is that these are very adjustable, so you don't really need to worry about if you have a horse that has an abnormally shaped head or a larger thoroughbred or a smaller pony breed or anything like that. These are pretty standard all-around halters, and you can tighten them or lengthen them as needed. Now, I will show you this rope halter that is made for a very, very young horse. This actually has the tag on it still. I was working with a yearling not too long ago, and the owner gave me this to use on her, and I never did because this is just an odd, like over here where it would normally be a knot where you tie a rope halter, it's this weird buckle thing, and I just don't understand. I guess because it's quicker to get on the horse's face. I don't like this at all, guys. If you're gonna buy a rope halter, steer away from all this metal and stuff around the head. It's really just, I mean, it's just more cause for this to slap against the horse's head. I don't know. I mean, even this is not even a strong tie point to put. So if this horse pulled or something like that, I guess they have it. So I guess they have it. So if you're trying to teach a horse to tie, to where you could just slip that out in it. But, you know, I would stick away from stuff that has metal around the face. A lot of times, even if it's not intentional, that can hurt our horses, depending on what we're doing. And again, this is not really, I'm going to get into my reasons for why I prefer a rope halter over a standard one in a minute, but I will show you here how this actually is supposed to turn into like a riding rope halter. And on this buckle you would attach reins, and on this buckle there are a lot of rope halters that are like that. But if you're gonna be riding in a rope halter, I ride in a rope halter. Pretty much that's my primary means of headgear. I ride in a rope halter and I absolutely love it. I circle the reins around so that the knot is underneath the horse's chin rather than on the sides of the face. I just find that I really find no difference in the amount of flexion that my horse has and the amount of direction I'm able to give. A good horseman will be able to ride a horse really in anything and bring the best out of them. But yeah, so like I said, this was made for a much smaller horse. I never used it because this whole tie point on the side really just was dumb and confused me. I don't even know why. I'm not gonna Tough One makes this. They make this and it pretty much caters to people that are too lazy to tie a knot, pretty much. So Tough One is a pretty good brand. I love Tough One, actually. A lot of their products and halters and everything, but I really didn't like this at all. So I never used it. On that yearling, I really just used, I actually used this, I'm like showing you all my halters. I use this little blue halter. So this is a rope halter as well, of course. It was just a little more, so obviously a smaller horse, I consider yearlings babies. I consider anything under 4 a baby. This rope is a lot more delicate. It's a lot more, has more give to it. It's a lot gentler on the horse's faces. Versus this rope halter, which is not harsh on a horse's face, but an older horse, a horse with, I don't want to say tougher skin, a horse that is able to give to good pressure and you really don't need to do a lot of schooling, you're soft with your hands, this is a lot better. Even though this has some give to it, it's a lot tougher. Not a lot tougher, but it's fairly tougher than this. So I used this on that baby and it worked amazing. And again, it had the regular, and this is a double one as well. It had the regular, but not only that, the lead rope was a good size. There's a lead rope attached to it. It's a really good size. Okay, so now that I'm jumping around talking about these different types of rope halters and everything, so my first point in why I prefer a rope halter. And pretty much I showed you all that just to show you, hey, rope halters come in different colors. They come in different sizes, which you really don't need a super small size. You can adjust an even large one on a smaller horse's face, everything like that. And I recently just bought this purple one. I mean, it's actually just really pretty. I mean, they come in really, really pretty colors that has this nice lead rope as well. So yeah, so they make all kinds of rope halters. You can even make your own. But yeah, so I'm going to get into, if I'm looking down, it's because I actually have this written down because I wanted to hit on a lot of points for you guys. Okay. So the rope halter is going to put a lot better pressure on your horse's face than a standard nylon halter. Again, if you refer to the picture of a standard breakaway halter, you'll see that the makeup is very flat. Rope halters are obviously made out of rope and they have knots. I guess I'll just keep my halter up here so I can show you. These knots here sit around a horse's pressure points on the face. Now I've seen rope halters, so this part is the part that goes over the nose. I'm sure you guys have all seen a rope halter, so it really shouldn't be hard to you know, visualize. But so some halters I've seen, they have this dot or this knot, this knot, this knot, and this knot. Now I think I personally do think that's a little excessive. To each his own, but I think you definitely can put a lot more pressure and misuse that pressure on a horse's face with a bunch of knots. Really, the only 2 knots that I'm ever worried about are just the ones that hit the side of the horse's muzzle. And so then when you get up to the top of this, you see a knot here. This knot typically will sit right behind that horse's ear where there's another pressure point, so it'll put pressure there. And then there's a knot right here. So you have all of these different knots on a rope halter, and they put pressure on a horse's face in different ways. Now, again, a standard breakaway halter just does not have that. So if you're trying to teach a horse flexion, if you're trying to teach them bending, if you don't know what those things are, please look them up. Those are very important when training a horse. But you're trying to give that horse to give to pressure of the halter. You're trying to halter break. You're really trying to get that horse to accept the pressure. You're not going to be able to do so as well with one of those breakaway halters that you are as a rope halter, because the pressure that each one of them provides is very different. Now, don't take that as me saying you aren't able to teach that. Clinton Anderson has a series in which he talks about why he doesn't like those kinds of halters, and he says, hey, you can use those halters to get the same result as you can with a rope halter, but it's going to take longer. You're going to have to put more pressure on the horse's face, and the horse is not going to respond as quickly as they would in a rope halter. So if you really think about it, yes, the slow way is the fast way with horses, as Rick Gore puts it. However, when you're talking about teaching a horse time and feel, and you're using that to train a horse, you want something that's going to get their attention quickly, and then you can quickly give release. So, like I said, I used nylon halters for years, and I had such terrible luck with them. It took me so much longer to do things that I could do in almost 10 minutes when I started with the rope halter. I mean, from riding to lunging to groundwork, everything. So I really just recommend you tossing out that nylon halter, getting a rope halter, especially if you're starting to work with a horse that you don't know, or a horse that is becoming ground broken, ground started, even a horse that you're starting in saddle. Get rid of those nylon halters and switch over to a rope halter. Another thing about rope halters is that before this halter breaks, your horse's neck will break. That's not necessarily a good thing that your horse's neck will break, no, but it's a good thing that these are, again, so they're very durable. They are 100% more durable than standard nylon breakaway halters. The reason those kinds of halters are called breakaway halters is because when the horse pulls, they are designed to pretty much break, so that the horse never becomes trapped. The horse doesn't get in a situation they shouldn't be in. My issue with that is not, hey, I know stuff happens sometimes. I know sometimes a horse is gonna become scared and pull, or a horse may get in a bad situation, and yeah, you may need to cut that halter, or you want a halter to break off. However, I've only been in one situation these 7 years I've owned one of my mares that I've ever even needed to get rid of my rope halter, and it was because I put her in a situation where she pulled really hard and she was constantly pulling. That rope halter did not break. That rope halter tightened up around the knot where you tie it, but it did not break. And that was with her weighing 1,000+ pounds, putting that constant pressure. She was leaned back on that halter and it would not break. Her neck would have broken had I not ran and got scissors and cut it. So with the standard breakaway halter, obviously it would have broken. In this particular case, it was an emergency. I put my horse in a bad situation and she pulled. So we learned from that experience. However, when she was 6 months old and I was actually teaching her to tie and teaching her to accept that pressure, being trapped at a tie point, I was using a standard nylon halter, again, a breakaway halter, and she pulled, it broke. So I think I may have had like 4 halters. I was a little crazy. I went and got 4 halters, and so I ended up putting another. I had to catch her. I put another breakaway halter on her. I tied her back up. I said, okay, let's try this again. She pulled again. I did it a 3rd time. The reason, and again, I was 17, dumb, so ignorant, which is why I'm making this video and this series of videos so that I can educate people that are in that position. But again, had I have used a rope halter, she would have learned the first time, hey, when I pull, I don't just automatically, I don't get to go free. It doesn't break. The only thing that breakaway halter was teaching her, and I was teaching her, was that when you pull, this halter is going to break and then you can run away, and that it's okay to pull. So if you're trying to teach a horse to accept pressure on the face with the halter, if you're trying to halter break a horse or teach them to tie, you need to understand if you're using a piece of equipment that's just going to break the moment they put the slightest bit of pressure on it, then you are setting your horse up to fail. You are setting your horse up to fail. You are setting your horse up to fail. I cannot stress that enough. So yeah, rope halters are not going to break. The overall durability of a rope halter, I mean, this halter I've had for 3 years now. I mean, amazing. And my other ones are fairly newer, but yeah. And even the last one that I had, I'm not showing it obviously because I had to cut it. I had that one for 4 years. Rope halters are just, again, much more durable than standard halters. So guys, I actually hit 16 minutes, so I'm gonna end this and then I'm gonna make a part 2. Okay, see you in the next video.